as bail bondsman. Well, let me tell you that story in a second. Let me ask Dog, where would you start looking, buddy, if you had to look for a college professor with no criminal record who just killed his wife and 2 other people?
Hi, brother. Well, I would start probably, I think you'd head to a large city like Atlanta. So, like the professor was just saying, or a lot of these guys that do this out of revenge or out of complete hate, Geraldo, as you know, they don't plan this. So, you know, I mean, they plan it like, you know, a day ahead of time. Planning an escape. One thing he did was shut the phone off, and so he knows the phone can't be pinged, so you know right there he's on the run. So, heading for a large city, that kind of guy, as a professor raised like that, would probably get on an airplane and bolt who knows where. You know, you just have to start tracking him. But someone needs to get a hold of his computer and start seeing where he's, you know, looked at, get his cell phone, see where he's called, and that'll give you a map to where he's going. I do believe that.
Oh, I think that's good advice. All right, you and bail bondsman Bobby Brown allegedly fired on, I guess it was Tuesday, as you pursued a fugitive bail jumper. What's going on, Dog? I mean, why'd the guy shoot you? I mean, try to shoot you.
Well, we walked up on him too fast. He shot over our heads and took off on a motorcycle. What's ironic about it is it's like 3 days later, the guy's already out on bail. Some bondsman, you know, saw that we were being shot at and I guess doesn't like us and got the guy out. He was being held on a $50,000 bond, and we had him set in a jail. You know, it's a dangerous guy, plus his original crime was, I believe, felon with a firearm and beating on women. So some bondsman, blam, got him out of jail. He's back out on the streets. That kind of irks me more than the guy actually shooting at you, you know. But in this business, you have that kind of thing.
But let me ask you this, Doug. Is that because the local cops have a beef with you that they didn't charge him with the shooting, or you know, what's going on that a guy? We see you at the scene now. That a guy who's using a dangerous weapon and actually discharging it. Why isn't that an attempted murder rap?
Well, yes, sir, Geraldo, the local cops at Colorado Springs are some of the greatest in the country, and they did charge the guy with attempted murder, and his bail was set at 50 grand.
He still gets a 50 grand bail?
Yeah, I mean, it's so, in the West, you know, the possession of firearms is not like Hawaii or New York. The laws are, I mean,
yeah, but trying to kill Dog Chapman, that's the same. I'm telling you.
But, you know,
that's awful.
Thank you, brother.
Just awful, man.
Well, but you can't be, you know, because Dog's a bounty hunter on A&E, you can't set the bond at $300,000. You know, you have to be fair. But shooting at someone in Colorado, I guess that's the standard bail. But I mean, that's a little low. You know, 50 grand, $5,000 is out of jail.
I think so. So all this week, Dog, you and I have been denying these persistent, totally false reports that we're both set to appear in this new reality show. Were you ever asked to be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
You know, I think they called a month or so, or maybe 2 months ago, to my agent, and he said, you know, we'll be shooting our show for A&E and starting our 6th season, and that we just couldn't do it. And I've been reading that, you know, you and I were going to go down there and follow the accused Chicago guy, and we were going to watch him, and I was going to hunt him down, and you were going to report on it if he tried to bolt.
Oh, if former Governor Blago decided to split? It's funny. But
then you'd be there, and we'd be, you know, and a lot of people don't know that you're a Golden Gloves boxer.
That's right.
So me and you would be, you know, taking that guy down if he tried to get away. And Janice Dickerson, she'd be watching us to make sure we do right and radioing in to Beth and your wife. So
give Beth a big kiss, but I want you to watch this now, because I started thinking, you know, with Greg Hart, my buddy here, that you know, if we're not going to be on this show, which they never asked me at all, is a total lie, but I'm not going to be, if they're not going to put me on that show, what's the show all about, and how would I do it if I were on? What?
I love everything about the jungle.
Having also appeared in the British version, flamboyant former model and reality regular Janice Dickinson is among those really slated to appear on the show's 4-week-long series, beginning on NBC June 1st. Janice will be joined by other notorious players, including indicted coat and tie wearing former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich and Heidi and Spencer from the Hills. So I was never asked to be on, and I wouldn't be. First, there's the issue of credibility. Anyway, I get dropped into jungles for a living. I'd never do it for a hobby. This is the area I call the Savage Forest. But if I did, I'd be like Richard Hatch on the original Survivor.
Naked, blessed
Nudity aside, Richard liked to dance. So do I. Richard liked to drink. So do I.
If you walked on it, it's very spongy.
There's the competition.
Off the board.
And the crazy stunts. The personal tension.
I don't need your opinions. I don't need anything.
But what would I wear?
I'd like to be naked all the time.
Doug, they should have put us on the
Amazing.
show. We should have been asked. You and I would have really put a big hit in the Rays, I think, buddy.
I think so, but we'd have had to make a deal to tie because we couldn't compete against each other. Come on, brother, right?
I never compete
Right.
against you, brother. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Tell your family I said aloha for all.
And
Thank
to you,
brother.
too, bro. Coming up, the terror-torture debate takes a major twists and turns. What did Dick Cheney know? What did Nancy Pelosi